Good afternoon. Welcome to another video from the Bailey Group. This is a new series now. This series is called Tax Tips, and this is the first video in our Tax Tips series. So what we're going to do here in these videos is hopefully give you some little pointers as to where you can save some tax, obviously completely legally, and where you need to be careful of for little holes that you just need to be able to skirt around with our help. Okay, so let's start. We've got quite a few things here for the first one. So we've got something about cars, about how to buy a car. We've got something about VAT and flat rate VAT when it might be appropriate for you to use that. We've got something about mileage claims and how much you can claim, and flat rate and VAT on those mileage claims. We've also got something about national insurance, and then the cracker at this time of year, the Christmas party. Okay, and then we've got an announcement at the end, which I'll hopefully not forget, because if you remember all, in one of my previous videos I had an important announcement to make and I forgot to make it. So we'll see how we go on. So the first one then, cars. Okay, so I've been in practice for 26 years, and the most question I always get asked is, how do I buy my car? One client actually asked me what colour he should buy. I said red is a nice colour, and he said that's good because it's high second-hand value. So there you go. So cars then, how do you buy a car? Well, you can buy a car with cash. In other words, go to the dealership, pay the money in total for the car, or you could buy it on HP. You know what HP is? You put a deposit down, the car's your car, and you just pay the payments at the end of the HP term, whatever that happens to be. Then you can, then the car is your car completely. Or you might decide to have it on a lease, where you pay a monthly payment to a lease company. The car's never yours, and at the end of the lease, you just hand the car back. Or something that's popular these days, a mixture of the two. It's called a PCP. And the PCP is basically, you pay a payment to a credit card, to a loan company, and at the end of that loan, you've got three choices. You can either hand the car back, number one. You can either keep the car and pay the loan off, or number two, you can then part exchange the car for another car and take the loan out again. So what's the tax treatment, the difference of all these? Well, if you own the car at the end of the contract, this is the important point. If you own the car at the end of the contract, then the only tax deductible expense you can have in that piece is the interest. You will be able to claim capital allowances on the car, depending on its CO2, but you will be able to claim the interest and get interest relief against the profits of the business. If you have a lease, you can actually claim all of the payments against that lease, against the profits for that lease. The difference with the lease is that you can only claim half the VAT back. So remember that one, only half the VAT, because that assumes that you're going to be using the car for private use. And you all know what private usage is. Private usage is home to office or home to place of work. Now, just going on one step further from that, if you trade as a limited company and you have a car, then if the car goes to the limited company, you will get a benefit in kind. That means that the HMRC will tax you on the value of that car and add that onto your income. Now, everyone thinks that that's pretty easy because you just take what the value of the car was when you paid for it. That isn't correct. What you do is you get the actual price that the car cost when it came out of the factory. What does that mean? That does not mean looking at the screen and saying it's 9,995 when it should have been 12,995. That does not mean that. It means you actually pay tax on the 12,995, not the 9,995. And before you say anything else, you cannot go and buy a second-hand Ferrari for £1,000 and pay tax on £1,000. You will pay tax on the value it came out from the factory. Remember that. So that might be £100,000 or £200,000, depending on what type of Ferrari you are buying. So be very careful about those. Obviously, any extra points on that, just drop me or Alex an email and we can sort those out for you. VAT then, quick one on VAT. Do you all know about the flat rate? Flat rate VAT. It means that you don't have to do all the bookkeeping that you have to do for normal VAT. So you take your turnover, add the VAT onto it, and then charge a flat rate. This can be as low as 6%, it might be 14%. So there's a slight saving for you there. You make a slight amount of money on it, not a great deal, but it's better in your pocket than the tax man's pocket, as I always say. Another thing about VAT, if you have staff members and they've got mileage, you can reclaim the mileage, the VAT on the mileage that they do from whilst they're going around doing your business. It's quite a convoluted calculation, but you can do it. It might not be worth it. It might be worth it. One client did it. It took him 4 hours to calculate it, and he was saving 13 pence a quarter. Not really worth his time, I didn't think. But it is what it is. You need to understand these facts. And then if you look at the calculation, try and calculate it, see if it's worth doing. If it's worth doing, fine. If it isn't, then fine as well. National insurance. If you employ staff, then you will be paying employers' national insurance. The first £4,000 of that in any year is credited back by HMRC. So you do not pay the first £4,000. It's called the employer's allowance. Okay, employer's allowance, £4,000. If we do your wages for you, then we will automatically tick the box to claim it. So don't let it worry you. Excuse me, little cough there before the most important one on the list, the Christmas party. Everyone asks about this. If you are a one-man business or a 100-man business, then you can get the same tax benefit from the Christmas party. If you pay up to £150 per person, including the VAT, you are allowed to deduct that off your profits. So husband and wife business can go out £150 a person. So there you go, silly Billy from Hartlepool. You can take your lovely wife out, £300. You can pay for her and you to go out on a lovely meal. I tell you what, David, why don't you take your daughter as well? She's lovely as well, and you'll have a really nice time. So and obviously they need to be employed by the business, and you can do up to £150. Be very careful that you don't go over the 150, but it's £150, including VAT, is allowable against your profits. So it reduces your profits. What does that mean? It reduces your tax, and it's completely allowable and completely legal. So that's the first few of those tax tips I want to do. If you've got any suggestions about what you want me to talk about, then please email them in to myself or to Alex, and we can put them in the next video. These videos will come out every couple of weeks, and what should happen is that over time we'll build up a vault of these videos that you can then access through our website. So really helpful. And then hopefully you'll all become accountants like me, hopefully. So the next piece, the final piece on the jigsaw is our little announcement that we've got today. As of today, the Bailey Group has joined forces with a firm in the south of England called SKS Business Services, and we'll be known as SKS Bailey Group going forward. What does that mean for you as clients? Nothing. What does it mean for me as the owner of the Bailey Group? Not a lot, really. I'm still going to be sat here. I'm still going to be having the videos. I'm still working away on the client business. I'm still doing exactly what I'm doing. All that's happening is we are now finally taking the Bailey Group national. So we are now a national business. And it's a testament to all our staff who've worked really hard. And I just want to thank them all. And hopefully you won't see a change in the service that you receive. If you do, you know what to do. Email me, and we'll make sure that the service is up to its normal high levels. Okay, that's all for today. So we'll see you in 2 weeks when we do the next one. Thanks very much.